Holy shit. Holy shit. What's going on, everybody? Whoa. More good music. We don't need it, though. We'll play that one next time. Hello, 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 hello.
What it do, what it do?
What it do, indeed. What it do, what it do, what it do.
What it do, what it do?
Fart!
How's everybody doing? Society is breaking down, dude. Yeah, it kind of is. I mean, what are you going to do? A civil war is starting in the U.S. like a bomb. The economic, socio-political circumstance. I mean, look, I don't know that this uprising that seems to be spreading as we're doing this is going to continue on forever and ever. I don't know if it's going to lead to some kind of, general conflict with the powers that be. I don't know that this is that one. But I'm telling you, man, I've been preaching this shit to you guys for years and years and years, and some of you listened and, you got your own opinions or whatever. And some of you are, have been poo-pooing me all those fucking years. And I don't like being right about shit like this, but I was right. Thank you, Cloud Massacre and Marshall Manson says people are rioting outside your house right now. Well, just be fucking careful, man. That's fucking crazy, Marshall. Like, just be fucking careful. Like, don't risk any shit. And I don't know, man. That's fucking crazy. I don't even know what to tell you to do. What to do, Paul? Feeling better since my last super chat, and hope all is well in my Deuterino. Much love, and
Fart!
Riots be based and make me gleeful. Well, good for you. Good for you, my friend. It's happening. That's right, it's happening. Society is falling apart. Thank you. It's happening. Dear, it's happening. And pretty soon there won't be a Walmart. That's right. It's happening. I told you it would. It's time for the people to tear it all down for good. Oh, it's happening. That's right, it's happening. And I'm glad it's happening. It's my little celebratory song. That's right. It's happening. Thank you. Drinking beer too. Well, clinkety clink, my friend. Tinkety tink. I see these riots and I think to myself, yeah. I see McDonald's burning and Target too. The flames are red, orange and blue. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see people looting big chain stores, stealing TVs, and so much more. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see friends wearing masks, throwing bricks at the cops. They say that shit's cold, but I think it's pretty hot. I see tear gas grenades being thrown back at police. What rhymes with police? Damn it. I don't know. I wish I could have kept that one going for you guys, but it fell apart at the. Hey, it was good for a minute. Go get footage of the riots. Okay. Let me hop right out there, man. Let me hop right out there. Hey, PJ, Uncle Donnie here. How's life, bud? Paul's uncle. See, here's the thing. I don't know if you're actually my Uncle Donnie. I actually don't have an uncle. I don't think my Uncle Donnie would call himself Donnie. So, I think I've exposed you. I think you've been exposed, my good sir. Confirmed, not Uncle Donnie, yeah. Confirmed. "2019 was a year TJ and Paul seemed to take a break to recharge. This more recent energy is empowering for sure." I mean, I don't know, dude. I mean, there's ebbs and flows to everything, right? Am I the only one that goes to family reunions? Dude, I've been to a couple of family reunions, and it is remarkable how many people you don't know. I mean, the couple that I've gone to, yeah, I know a bunch of people there, but there was like a whole group of people that I didn't know or I just barely knew. You know what I mean? The last one I went to, I made a promise to myself, I'm not going to these anymore. If I want to see a family member, I'll go see them. If I want to have a talk with a family member, I'll give them a call or whatever. But these fucking family reunions, I ended up sitting there with some smart ass kid who I don't even know how that little fucker was related to me. He was related to me in some way. His little ass was there, and at the time I was wearing a Raiders jersey, and he went on this fucking tirade just shitting on the Raiders, and it's like, okay, I'm good at banter, so I bantered back and forth. He was a 49ers fan, so it was real easy to shit on him. You know what I mean? But he just wanted to do it all day. Like, he didn't know how to take an L, and he didn't know when enough was enough, and he didn't, And so really my whole experience of that whole fucking family reunion, all I remember is that little shit-eating fucking kid who I don't even know if I share any blood with this little motherfucker. You know what I mean? And I can't tell him to, go fuck himself because I might offend somebody that I know. I don't know. It's just ridiculous. So I'm done with that shit. Good morning. Is it morning? It's not really morning. Let's not start with the morning shit, okay? Because it is not morning for me. I don't want to hear good morning. I don't want to hear any of it. I'm fed up, man. I'm fed up with it all, to be honest with you. I'm fed up with this world. Fed up with it all. It's a goddamn nightmare. And there's still people that don't get it. There's still people on the wrong side of this. There's still people simping for the cops, bootlicking the cops, bootlicking the powers that be. Trying to make this into some fucking human tragedy and trying to make the people protesting and rioting and looting and shit into the bad guys in this situation when they've literally been raped in the ass for the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years by the corporations and by capitalism in general. And their fucking just abject fucking refusal to see that or to even consider it or to even talk about it. It's just, ugh. Man, I am so glad I am the way that I am. You might think that I'm wrong. You might think that I'm fucking stupid, but at least I'm not licking the boots of some fucking authoritarian maggot piece of shit. At least I know which side of the bread my fucking, butter is on. It could be worse. Fucking ridiculous. Yeah, I'm fed up. Is the quarantine making me crazy? Exactly the opposite, dude. I'm going to be honest with you. The quarantine helped me. And I'm not the only one. Dude, my mental health is in better shape because I was able to take that fucking time and simplify my life. I'm better off. It gave me time to sit and think. It gave me time to tighten up some of my fucking arguments. It gave me time to have some talks with TJ, both publicly and privately, and, you know, other people that I fucking trust. And hone my worldview. It helped me. That fucking quarantine was sorely needed. And you know what? I'm not the only person I've heard that from. And there are several people in the chat saying it too. Yeah. Coming out the other end of this shit. And we're not even out the other end of it. I'm not stopping quarantining, by the way. I'm not, you know, I'm still fucking staying at home. I'll go out when there's a fucking vaccine or the virus just starts to die off or there's a treatment that makes it fucking negligible and it's widely available. Or the numbers just decrease, and you know, to where it's, you know, the risk is lower. Until one or all of those things happens, my fucking fat ass is staying right here. Listening to CN run defense for the cops, just agonizing. What about the looting? I know. But what did you expect, though? The news media has never been on your fucking side, guys. I've been saying this forever and ever and ever and ever again. And please, let's not act like we're shocked now at this point in history. Let's not act like at this point in history right now we're totally fucking shocked, right? That the cops aren't on our side and that the fucking news media isn't on our side. Let's not pretend. Okay? I've been saying it for fucking years, guys. Years, a decade or more of my life. I've been telling people this shit. And it's just like, this might not even be the catalyst that makes most people realize it, but that day is coming, man. The bottom is going to fall out of this fucking shit. Listening to CNN run, yeah. How's your mom? I miss those homemade enchiladas. You ain't never had my mom's homemade enchiladas, fake Paul's uncle. Just got back from a protest in Omaha. They threw tear gas everywhere like it was Waco. Also, the quarantine's helping me too. Yeah, I mean, you're not the first I've heard it from. My brother called me insane for supporting the rioting and looting. Well, you know what? Your brother is one of the great fucking tidal wave of fucking people out there. And I'm not going to call your brother an idiot because he's not. I mean, maybe he is. But I won't make that judgment of him just because he holds that. Like, I understand the position. I understand where those people are coming from. They're looking at it and they're thinking, like, that could be my small business burning. And, you know, what about that? And what about that? And what about that? They're refusing to look at the fucking root problem here. The injustice, the inequality, the outright fucking disenfranchisement of an entire group of people, the brutality, the constant boot heel of the fucking pig on the throat of people at the lower economic bracket, especially people with brown skin. And you just think you can keep cranking that pressure valve. You think you can just keep stomping harder. Literally and figuratively now. And, you know what I mean? Eventually it's going to blow. Eventually people are going to get tired of being taken advantage of. And not only tired of taking advantage of, but tired of living in a system that seems to be set up around them being taken advantage of. And you know what happens then? They burn it to the ground. Target could pay all their employees anyway, but no, of course not. Because they don't give a fuck about their employees or any of the people that walk through their stores buying their cheap shit. I'm a fake. How did I know about the enchiladas? Because I've talked about my mom's enchiladas on the stream before. You're just a dude that listens to the stream, homie. Dude, my mom's enchiladas are a hot topic of conversation on this stream. We burn it to the ground. And we don't shed tears for business people. I quit drinking, lost 20 pounds, and caught up on much needed rest during the quarantine. Look at you, buddy. What a nice productive way you spent at least this part of the quarantine. Because once again, make no bones about it, I am not saying the quarantine is over. It's not. I'm drinking Newcastle, and I got a little cup of water here that I sip on, puffing on some legal tobacco. Pardon me. No, man. You know what I mean? It's obvious to me what side of this argument I'm on, and it should be obvious to anybody who's ever listened to me. And it should be obvious how I feel about people who lick the boots of the authorities in instances like this, especially. And it should also be obvious to you people what I think all this means. You know? We're on the right side of history. I mean, I've done my best, dude. I really have. You say what you want about my crazy fucking ideology, but here's the thing. I have always tried to be an advocate for the common human being. And that was just in my fucking blood, man. My parents were members of a very strong trade union. My dad was the president of the local chapter of that union, local number 254, glass molders, pottery, plastics, allied workers. You can look it up. My dad was the president of that union for about 5 or 6 years. I was raised around this shit, man. I was raised around the idea that people have got to take back from these corporations or else. So, you say what you want about my ideology. It's stupid. It's, fantasy based. It's because I see it all, man. You know, I see the way that, my political philosophy is portrayed by some people, and it's always based around this idea that I'm lazy or stupid or a fantasist, or I'm somehow avoiding the truth somehow by retreating to these things. Let me tell you what, man. You say what you want about me. I have always, always, always in my philosophy done my level-headed best, the best I could do with my fucking brain to side with the common fucking man and woman and person on this planet. Paul gave me a call. I know about the trumpet. My dad's in here now. Oh, no. I just joined, but I read the title as click here for basic communism. Not disappointed it's not, but I was hoping. Oh, yeah. No, we're just talking about, we're just talking about the way things ought to be, man, which is like a lot of people, there's a long time in America where people just weren't having that conversation. They were talking about how fucked up everything was, but where was the conversation about the way things ought to be and where things ought to be and how things ought to be? Those conversations died for way too long in this fucking country, and if there's ever a time to start having those conversations, it is now, man. And I'm not talking about the way things ought to be by shuffling stupid fuck politicians around like little dominoes and little fucking toy soldiers and shit. I'm not talking about solving the problem by voting for Joe Biden or even the down ticket of these corrupted fucking parties. I'm talking about the way things ought to be. Free from the yoke. Free from exploitation. Free from the boot heel and the boot licking. Free. Actually free to pursue your passions. Think about a world like that and tell me it's not fucking possible, bitch. Because it is. How do we make it that way? I don't know. You know what? If I could give you a detailed point-by-point answer to that, I would. But I know what the first few steps are. The first steps are admitting the problem. Admitting the problem and starting to use your time making that argument and trying to break the psychological hold that this fucking spinned economy has on people. Trying to break this fucking idea that a person breaking their back in a fucking factory is the most noble thing a human being can do. I'm a nurse at a retirement home. They have started opening it back up to admissions and letting visitors come back. I told them, take me off the schedule and make me PRN. What has changed? Ridiculous. You're absolutely fucking right. And you know what, dude? Unless they're really lucky, some old fucking people in that retirement home, somebody's fucking nana and papa are going to die of fucking COVID-19. For what? No owner class, no ownership at all. Just the freedom to pursue what your passion is. The freedom to move around the world and be near the people that are passionate about the things that you're passionate about. To work with the best minds, to learn from the best minds. To create, to think about the future and try and touch it in whatever way you want to be. You want to be an entertainer? Go be with the entertainers and learn your fucking craft, unencumbered by the need to flip burgers at a horrible dystopian McDonald's all fucking day. You want to be an engineer? Go wherever the engineers congregate and learn from the best minds and design buildings and design housing that for the people. Or don't. Or keep living this way. I mean, whatever you want to do, you know what I mean? Pursuing your passion is climbing a mountain, Juanito. Genuinely pursuing your passion is climbing a mountain. Right now, you're being asked to climb the mountain with a bunch of bullshit strapped to your back that you don't need. You're being asked to carry the weight of a mortgage up the mountain, Juanito. No, make no bones about it. There's no easy road here. Genuinely pursuing your passion is the hardest thing you will ever motherfucking do. And if it isn't, you're just lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself if you say you're pursuing your passion. No, I'm talking about unencumbering people. I'm talking about letting people climb those mountains without their fucking packs filled with bullshit. What if your passion is not pursuing your passion? Well, if you're one of those very rare people, I say live your life, bro. Sit around in your own fucking filth and eat Cheetos and play video games all day. The drain that you have on society will be so outstripped by the fucking explosion of creativity that'll happen when people are really free to pursue their passions, that wiping your ass for you with a little bit of money and a little bit of housing and stuff and keeping you comfortable while you sit and watch Jerry Springer all day in your stained up fucking boxers, doing nothing and pursuing nothing. That's not going to be some big fucking societal ill. Thanks for everything. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Tron. Heinrich, $50, man. Thank you for the passion and you and the Kirks bring to my feed. Duty calls now more than ever. The decrepit institutions that perpetuate this system must be chiseled away before we can make any progress. Much love, Paul. Thanks for the inspiration. Well, thank you, my friend, for the donation and the support. And really, most importantly, like, I appreciate the money, but thank you for the vote of confidence. Honestly. Thank you for listening to me in the vote of confidence. A lot of people just dismiss me. And that's part of this. I'm not bitching about it. I wouldn't outwardly hold the positions that I hold if I wasn't willing to not make a whole lot of friends and piss a lot of people off and cause a lot of people to dismiss the way I am outright. You know what I mean? So the vote of confidence means a lot to me. Because, those are few and far between. How did I find my passion? My passion? If I'm honest with you, I'm still looking for it, bro. I know little pieces of it. I know I'm doing a piece of it right now. I know entertaining people and making people laugh and talking to people and whatever, having discussions like this with people. I know that's part of my passion. But I'm still chasing it, man. I'm still climbing the fucking mountain. I'm very lucky, too. I've been given this extraordinary fucking opportunity to do something that's really related to my passion and really pursue it. And I've taken that for granted at points in my career here on YouTube. And I'm trying not to do that anymore, man. I'm really trying to fucking be thankful for the fact that I got to take a little chunk, but it's fucked. It's fucked that me taking a little chunk of time to pursue my fucking passion is so special. I wish that was true for all of you. The solution is not communism, but actual democracy and fair, more cooperative capitalism, better public education. All right, man. Whatever you say. I got to be honest with you, dude. And maybe this is fucking irrational of me. You got the C word in your fucking answers to the problem, and you know what I mean. The good old C word, good old capitalism. You got that buried in your little fucking explanation for how to fix everything, and I'm done with you. And I'm done with your fucking idea. My idea is directly aligned against that. Capitalism has to die a horrible, horrible fucking vampiric death. Like humanity has to get together and kick open its coffin at 3 a.m. and drive a fucking stake through its heart collectively. The solution is oscillation between order and chaos and constant change and evolution, never finding a permanent state. That is nature. Whatever, man. In my opinion, the biggest fallacy of capitalism is that it encourages innovation and creative freedom. Give people the right to housing and education and see what kind of... That is exactly my fucking point, Kurt. And I have parroted things very similar to that numerous times here on my channel. I couldn't agree with you more, man. This idea that capitalism is needed to drive creativity, that the profit motive is the only thing that causes people to create cool things, is fucking stupid. You liberate people from the need to fucking work their asses off 60, 70, 80, 90 hours a week just to keep a roof over their head and watch what they do. Not all of them. Like that dude from earlier. Some of them will just sit around and party. Who fucking cares? We can finance the party. Because there will be enough of us working our asses off, making new things, creating new things. There would be an absolute tidal wave of creativity and innovation in this country if people were freed from the need to fucking finance their basic needs. I've thought similar to you for years before I ever knew who you were. I just wish I had your talent for articulation. Work on it then. Don't make an excuse, man, and don't write yourself off because we need more people talking about this. So I'm telling you, man, I don't feel like I'm all that articulate, but if you do, if I'm more articulate than you, note it and start taking notes and fucking practice it. Because if you genuinely are truthful about that, if you're truthful about what you sent with your $5, then we need more people talking about this. And you can't hide behind this, I'm just not articulate enough, man. Because you know what happens then? You get fucked, and everybody gets fucked because nobody's thinking about the real problem and the real solution. And I don't mean that in a mean way, dude. I'm not trying to shit on you. Thank you for your $5. Practice that shit. Start talking to people. And be honest. Duck the police in Minecraft. Thank you, Black Butter Crunch. Paul, how can you say you're not articulate? Because I've seen people that are actually articulate, and I stand not even in their shadow. I stand aside from their shadow. I'm not a super articulate person. I'm well spoken. I have a decent vocabulary. I'm not trying to sell myself short or whatever the fuck. But I'm not brilliant. I'm not a super smart guy, guys. What you're looking at here, if this isn't attainable, then nothing is. Okay? I just dedicated a lot of time to reading books, learning new words, and talking to people. And if you do the same thing, you could easily be what I am. I am not some great thinker. I am not a Christopher Hitchens or a George Carlin or a Bill Hicks. I'm just not. You know, I'm nowhere near that level. I'm just a dude, man. And people, you know what? That's one of the frustrating things about what the fuck I do. Is people treat me like I'm not just a dude. You know what I mean? With their expectations of me to be correct all the time, or their expectations of me to never contradict myself, as if they never do. I'm held to a higher standard than other people, and it fucking sucks. Because I'm not at a higher standard. You know what I mean? Diddy Kong says, "Here, Dad," and threw $2 at me. I feel like a stripper, Diddy Kong, but thank you. You know, and every little thing I say is scrutinized. There's a lot of people that just love to hate me, and there's a lot of people that hate to hate me, and there's a lot of people that don't want to hear me or anything I have to say, and there's nothing I can do to reach those people, and I don't really care to. I mean, if I can change a mind here and there, that's fine, but I'd really just like to inspire those of us that already believe this way, that already know all this shit, because there's a lot of you out there, to start talking about it and to start thinking about it. That's equally as important. There are a lot of people that'll tell you you're doing nothing, but if you're spending a good portion of your free time thinking about the future, if that's nothing, then I don't know what something is. No, it's not direct action. No, it's not mortaring up a fucking, bunch of bricks and building a wall or some shit. But to say that thinking about the future doesn't have a place and talking about the future doesn't have a place is just fucking absurd. Think for yourself. Don't listen to me, because I freely admit I don't know the answer. I don't know what the ultimate structure of what comes after all of this is. I do know that this has to die. This current system has to go. Capitalism has to go. Vulture capitalism has to go. Crony capitalism has to go. The profit motive has to go. Economic exploitation has to go. Resource extraction at the expense of local populations has to go. Hoarding of resources by different countries. Well, people, human fucking beings like you and me, starve to death in other parts of the fucking world has to go. Dumping billions and trillions of tons of plastic into the oceans every fucking year has to go. Is empathy or greed the main motivation for a corporation? You even need to ask me that fucking question? That question is self-evident. A corporation is a greed machine, a sociopathic greed machine, an entity that exists to exploit, to find its little niche and spread, and to take resources from wherever it has to in order to get bigger and bigger and bigger. I turned into the rock biter for a second there. Did you hear that? From Neverending Story. The nothing got bigger and bigger. Yep. There's this great quote from a documentary that if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's called The Smartest Guys in the Room. It's about the fall of an American corporation called Enron. And if you've never heard about Enron or whatever, I mean, it's pretty, you probably heard about it, but it's still worthy of watching it. There's a guy that used to work on the floor of Enron. He was a stock trader. And he has this great quote in the movie. They ask him, what was the culture like in that place? And he said, if I could step over somebody on my way up to the boss's office and make double my salary, I'm going to do it. So what he was saying is that even amongst all these compatriots working on the floor of this giant corporation, there was this sociopathic urge to assassinate one another. He goes on later in the quote, and once again, I'm paraphrasing here. He says, now, if I stomp on a dude's throat, on the way up to see my boss and I triple my salary, I'm going to do it. So even within these corporations, there is this sociopathic drive to cull the weak and to exploit to the maximum. And those who can maximally exploit in these corporations rise. Those with consciences, the people that need to be able to put their heads on the pillow at night and know that they're not directly contributing to death and destruction, they are culled from the herd. People too weak to exploit old people or stupid people or poor people, they're culled from the herd. And what's left? The sociopath. The sociopath, the psychopath, the person that is driven by the dogged and determined fucking need for more money. More. Give me more. I need more. If I plant evidence on that other guy, then his dollars will be mine and I'll have more. If I sell that grandma down the river by building a high tension power line over her house so she gets horrible cancer, I'll get more. If I deny someone treatment that they absolutely need to live, I'll get more. Where the fuck does it end? More. Guys, give me a sec. I gotta fix this microphone. It slowly, for whatever reason, it just slowly unscrews itself. So I'm gonna. Okay. Crisis averted. Now it won't fall off in the middle of a rant. It ends when there is no more. Well, that's the point, right? Derek Jensen says that the current culture has a death urge because it's accelerating towards a time where there will be no more. Not only will there be no more, there will not be enough. And then there will be none. And if we don't address it, then what the fuck are we doing arguing about Joe Biden and Donald Trump? See, that's another part of my position that I think people really misunderstand. I don't not vote out of just laziness or disinterest. I don't vote because I absolutely and utterly refuse to care about either of those doddering old men or their agendas. I absolutely refuse to care about the down ballot measures because it's the system itself I'm against. And let me tell you one thing that won't happen. The owner class, the donor class, the controller class, the political class, the corporate class, they will not be handing over their buttholes. There's never going to come a time in history where you guys elect the right politician that gets the powers that be to just hand over their buttholes. It's just not going to happen. And when one of them threatens to do that, take a look what they do to him. People start talking too much about hope and change and common humanity, they get popped in the middle of fucking Houston. And who takes over? Lyndon Johnson. Vampire Nosferatu corporatist cunt. Cynical, warmongering, and drenched in blood money. Dallas, right? Whatever. All of Texas is the same to me. Lyndon Johnson was a leftist. Oh, yeah, he was a leftist. You know what my favorite Lyndon Johnson quote is? And I'll probably get banned for this. I'm paraphrasing here. If I do the right thing, I'll have those niggers voting Democratic for 100 years. What a leftist. Get the fuck out of here. Lyndon Baines Johnson was a fucking canker sore on this fucking country, you dipshit. Come out of here with this. He was a leftist. He was a leftist. JF. Holy shit. Good grief. JFK successfully navigated the Cuban Missile Crisis. People always tell me that JFK caused that shit. JFK navigated the treacherous waters of that shit. And it didn't end in nukes going off on the American mainland. Thoughts on Henry Wallace? You're talking about Henry Wallace that blocked the fucking doorway of the schools. Where was the school? In Alabama? The guy that like refused to move out of the way when they tried to integrate. That was Governor Henry Wallace, wasn't it? Oh, that was George Wallace. Okay. And then I don't know who you're talking about. FDR's running mate. Oh, I don't know much about him, honestly. What do you think of FDR? I think that FDR kind of proves a lot of the points that I talk about. America had this unprecedented financial crisis. The bottom fell out. People's livelihoods disappeared. Businesses disappeared. And if radical action wasn't taken, the country would have been, subsumed into another country. I mean, it was really at that point. Some other country would have waited until we were weak enough and would have came here, and America would be no more. Really, the existence of America was at question. And FDR passed what was at that time and what still is a radical, group of legislations called the New Deal that introduced a broad swath of socialist ideas into America, including but not limited to Social Security. And, he managed to save America from the brink of destruction. From the brink of destruction, by the way, that came about at the hands of the very owner class that we've been talking about tonight. The same people we're talking about tonight almost killed America once. And FDR was able to come along and form a coalition large enough to pass the most radical legislation in American history. And at this point, I'm sorry to say, it just looks like he basically staved off the wolves for just long enough. But they're back now. And they've eroded it over the years and had new legislation written by their cronies and their bootlickers in Congress and passed, of course, with no ceremony, that have allowed them to undermine the New Deal and its promise of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for people, and its promise of support for human beings when they needed it from the federal government. And we've reached a point now where several American cities are on fire tonight. And, I reject the argument that those cities are on fire because people are greedy or they were just looking for an opportunity to do it. Those cities are on fire tonight because those people have been pushed too far for too long by a system that doesn't give a fuck about them. And you know what? George Floyd was just the straw that broke the camel's back. It's the same as the Watts riots in the 1960s in Los Angeles, which were fucking crazy. A dude, I don't remember even what his name was pulled over on a street by a racist white cop in a predominantly black neighborhood in Watts in the south central area of fucking Los Angeles. And he was pulled out of his car, he was beaten, and he was arrested for nothing. And his car was taken. And there were people walking up and down, hanging out in the public places that all saw this. And it was one black dude, too fucking many, that was gaffled up and beaten by the fucking police. And they tore that fucking part of the city down for days. And if that's not enough, it happened again. For the same reason, too. One person saw the cops beating the ever-loving fuck out of a black man for no reason and decided to grab their fucking camcorder and record it and release it to the media, and that happened to be Rodney King. And in 1992, the same part of L.A., the same area where that fucking conflict had happened that ended with buildings literally in rubble and the National Guard firing live rounds of ammo at American citizens on the streets happened again. And they burned it again. And here we are again. This is an order of magnitude. Guys, you need to understand the reason I remember so much about these incidents is because these were significant, huge incidents when I was a child. They were talked about for days and days and days. And I'm about to say something that might scare a few of you. What's happening right now is an order of magnitude bigger than that. An order of magnitude bigger than that. We are talking about a riot that every time I look at the fucking news, it's spread to another city. Coming to a city near you, the Watts riots, the South Central LA riots of 1992. It's happening, guys. Now, it may stop at some point. The wave may break and it may roll back. But I'm telling you, this is an order of magnitude bigger than that. It's in Columbus, Ohio, somebody's saying in the chat. People are saying it's starting in Bakersfield, California, of all places. A place that, it's not shocking to me because Bakersfield, California is a corporatist nightmare. It's a horrible place to live and work. Orlando, Florida, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Phoenix, Arizona. Atlanta, Madison, Wisconsin, Tampa, Miami, New York City, Portland, Seattle, San Jose, Napa, Vallejo, California, Oakland, Denver, Providence. Thank you, guys. I mean, it just goes on and on. Small towns, big towns. Just read the chat. Just read the fucking chat. It's everywhere. Well, I think DVR is enabled, so you can, tell if you want to. You can just rewind and catch up or whatever. Or you can just wait till it's done and go watch the beginning. And guys, I'm telling you, dude. Some of these might be trolls. Some of these might just be people throwing out random city names. But every time I look at the fucking news, another fucking riot is confirmed. Dude, Mars. Mars, dude.
I'd buy that for $1.
The only way people have a chance against the powers that be is if protests pop up as many places as possible. I mean, this is part of it, but I gotta be honest with you. We don't have a chance against the powers that be. It's the grinding to the halt of the economic engine that is important. That's where we have power. We can stop that. If people come together in solidarity and stop going to work and extend the pain and push through it and come together as a community and support each other and help each other through it while they starve out these fucking corporations, that'll get them. Because they can't stand behind you and hold a fucking gun to your head while you make widgets in the fucking Saskatoon widget factory or flip burgers. People need to come together in solidarity and help each other. Those that have stockpiles of food need to share it. In some instances, these giant fucking stores like Walmart and Target that hold these massive amounts of food need to be looted, and that food needs to be distributed amongst the people so that the strike can continue. And it's not just a strike, it's a refusal that we need. A refusal to participate anymore. We need to starve them. Because make no bones about it, they cannot make money unless you buy their shit. And they cannot make money unless you break your back making and shipping and carrying and shuffling around their shit. That's the way you beat them. Take what you need. Now, of course, they have the option to kill us all, don't they? But wouldn't that be cutting their own legs out from under them? Wouldn't that be cutting their nose off despite their face? See, that's the power that people hold. The people have the power if they're willing to fucking come together in large enough fucking numbers to say no more. In fact, that's in our Constitution. I'm paraphrasing badly, but when a government becomes so corrupt that it's evident to everybody, it's your duty to rise up against it. Well, if we haven't met that baseline, then when? Foreign wars that we're lied to about. Economic exploitation growing. The racist killing of black people by police ignored for how many years? Prisons so full that we're busting at the fucking seams. More people in prison than anywhere else in the fucking world. Shittier jobs, longer hours, worse wages, shittier health care. How much more are we supposed to take? How much more are we supposed to be asked to take? It's past time. You're goddamn right, because you know what? They've already fucked the environment. We could stop now, even if there's some big popular humanist uprising in this country. A cash economy is abolished. We move to a resource-based economy. Enough damage has been done by these fucking vultures and vampires that there's no stopping the ecological collapse. We're living in the midst of a fourth mass extinction event right now. And it's not going to stop. We could all go green and fucking carbon-free tomorrow. And eat from our own little victory gardens and shit and be vegans, and it would still come to fuck us. So yes, you're absolutely right. It's high past time. What's your opinion on Jeff Bezos? Just King Tick? King of the ticks right now. The one that's sucking off of the most people. The one that's literally draining the lifeblood of the most people. And one of the ones that does it in one of the cruelest ways, too. Having people work in their horrible, fucking dangerous fulfillment centers. Do back-breaking labor. Yeah. Yeah. He's King Tick right now. He's the perfect example of what we're talking about. Imagine if everybody was like $10 an hour. What an insultingly low wage. Forget that. Well, people would starve. There'd be hard times, man. You wouldn't get your TV. You wouldn't have air conditioning. I mean, what I'm talking about, walking away from that, there's no comfortable way to do that. But if enough people did it, the whole fucking system would grind to a halt. But it can't be 30% of people. It can't be 20% of people. It can't be a 5% of people. It's got to be 95% of fucking people. We're not buying it anymore. If we need something, we'll take it. And we're not working in your fucking slave factories anymore. Find somebody else to do it. Going vegan? Yeah, right. I'm not a wuss. Appreciate you responding to a few of my comments the past few days. You're good people. No worries, man. If I'm responding to your comments, probably because they're of genuinely high quality, especially if I did multiples. So thank yourself for that. Jeff Bezos wants to buy the sun. Jeff Bezos wants to blow up the sun. No more life. Cool. Let him do it. He wants to destroy the sun by just launching people's bodies at it and burning them up horribly in the corona of the sun. And I mean, here's my fear with the current things. You get some concessions, but you get concessions that allow the ultimate fucking problem to persist. So it's like going in, if capitalism, and especially crony capitalism and vulture capitalism, is the cancer that's killing us all. It's like going in and having it removed, knowing it's aggressive and knowing it's metastasized somewhere else. It's like, yeah, they might give people really good health care, and that might just placate people for a while. But the exploitation will continue. Kick the can down the road, exactly. What should we do, Paul? Just talk to people, man. Engage in these types of conversations as often as you can and think about the future and study. Like, read about these types of things that I'm talking about. Go back and read about the 1960s Watts riots. Read about the fucking 1992 Rodney King riots. Read about the ways that other societies collapsed and the reasons why. And start critically thinking about it for yourself. That's what we need. We need people that after whatever it is happens, whether it's an uprising or a bomb or a fucking tidal wave or a fucking meteor or a disease or an economic collapse that happens, we need people that can think about different ways of doing it, that don't involve capitalism, that don't involve exploiting your brother, that don't involve allowing a small group of humanity to exercise ever greater and more sadistic control over the rest of us. You know, how do we build a society based on equity and fairness? How do we build a society where a human's life is a joyful thing and not something filled with toil and regret and horrible exploitation? These are the questions that we need to answer, folks, and I'm not the guy that has the answers to those questions. So if you want to know what to do, go find those answers or go talk to people. Maybe they know. Find thinkers other than me and listen to them. Start thinking this way. Don't just be like a person that gets in this mode when we're doing a ideology and I'm getting like this. Live your life that way. Spend your free time when you have it looking into this stuff, refining your arguments, refining your knowledge about the way that the world works, and thinking, really, genuinely. The most important thing, don't constrain your fucking thinking. Be willing to be crazy. Be willing to be fanciful. Think far future. Think crazy. Don't limit yourselves. That's what you should do. There's a documentary on Netflix called LA 92 that covers the Watts riots in the 1960s and the 92 riot. Should be mandatory watching right now. There's another one. What's it called? I think it's just called Crips and Bloods. It was done by Stacy Peralta, who also did a really great documentary called, what's it called? I think it's just Dogtown, right? Oh, it's called Dogtown and Z-Boys. He was like, a skateboard guy back in the day, and he makes documentaries now. I think it's just called Crips and Bloods. But he made a really great documentary as well that talks at length and interviews people that were involved in at various levels, the Watts riots and the 92 riots. So it covers them both. I missed your super chat, duder. Sorry. Let me go back and see what I missed. Have you heard of the rock band Royal Blood? And if so, do you like them? I have heard of them, actually. Heard of them for the first time on the Howard Stern show, of all places, a number of years ago. I don't listen to them tons, but I do like them. Like, if I remember correctly, right, they're super stripped down. Like, they're just like a guitar and a bassist. I might be thinking of a different band, but I'm pretty sure that's the one I'm thinking of. They got really hard grooves and shit. They're kind of a stripped down band. 2-piece, yeah. Yeah. I like some. I likes Royal Blood. Royal Blood. We need to get organized and demand a basic income. No. We need to not just ask for table scraps from these people. We need to get organized and demand that they surrender their fucking control of society and come to the table and negotiate a way forward that does not include the exclusive rights of all fucking rich people over everybody else. And they're never going to do that, so we're going to have to take it at some point. Or else submit to their dystopian future where we become ever more enslaved by their incessant need to exploit. And the earth finally shakes us off like a bad case of fucking fleas, and we give the fucking roaches their chance. You know what I mean? We could go that way too if you want. I already knew Jeff Bezos was a crook based on how fast he got his current wealth. Anybody that's fucking ultra rich in this country is a fucking crook. They have evaded taxes. They have paid people far below what they are worth, far below subsistence. They've engaged in acts of market manipulation and insider trading. Every last one of these motherfuckers is a crook. Make no bones about it. And that's not just hyperbole. I recommend The Platform on Netflix. It's a thriller on a unique and torturous way to imprison people in a foreign language, but you can dub if you don't feel like reading subs. Okay, well, maybe I'll check it out. I've been looking for something to watch that isn't Hell's Kitchen, because my chill time and my downtime recently has been spent with Hell's Kitchen. And I'm running out of seasons. And running out of tolerance for Chef Ramsay smashing scallops and Arctic char and shit with his hand when he gets real mad. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Look, it's raw. Everybody, come here. Touch that. What's wrong with that? It's raw, chef. It's raw. That's right. It's fucking raw. You know what? You, and you. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, I've been doing nothing but watching that. When it comes to my TV time at night, I go through the list of shit that, movies and stuff, and I'm just like, let's just watch another episode of Hell's Kitchen. Recommend the plan. Okay, yeah, I got that one. Got it. I'm just making sure I don't miss people's super chats. I'm trying to be courteous of that. If you've got a question, go ahead and send one of those, and I'll read it and answer it for you. Scallops are ice cold. The risotto's cooked to shit. And the pizza's burned and doughy in the middle. How you accomplish that, I have no fucking clue. Yeah, I just love when he kicks them all out. You. Fuck off out of here. It's fucking raw. And then I love how incensed he gets when they fuck up on like a VIP table or something. It's like, that's fucking Kristen. That's fucking Kate Jenner out there. Or what's her? Kris Jenner. That's fucking Kris Jenner out there, and you give me pink chicken. Do you want to fucking kill Kris Jenner? No, chef. Are you trying to poison Kris Jenner? No, chef, I wasn't trying to poison her. I didn't check the chicken temperature, chef. I should have done that. You should have done that. You should have done that. You know what? You're a fucking muppet. You know that? Yeah, chef, I'll fix it, chef. No, you won't. No, you won't. You. Get the fuck out of here. I want to watch, I should watch Hotel Hell. I should try and find Hotel Hell. How important is spirituality in your life now? That's an interesting question. It's not all that easy to answer. They made a horror movie about Banana Split show. It's awful. You'd love it. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Back to the spirituality question. I mean, I'm not outwardly spiritual or religious in any way that I recognize, but I certainly have come to have a certain way that I look at the world and a way that I get through life and a way that I deal with people that has kind of locked into me and that I've become very reassured about. And there are elements of that feel very spiritual, like taking time out to look at nature, taking time out to sit outside, taking time out to appreciate the little things that I can see from my window. That sounds like a very normal thing, but to me, it's a very, very necessary thing. And I don't know that I would call that spiritual. I don't really know. But that's the closest, that I get. Nature is a whore. See the John Legend Ramsey video? I did not. I did not, my friend. Sorry. Thank you, though, for the $2. Pardon me while I whip this out. Because if this is to continue, I shall need to travel down the rabbit hole, gentlemen. What about the dude's character really appeals to you? It's a good question. It's one that's very easy to kind of like answer simply by saying, like, well, he's just cool, man. It's his anti-authoritarianism that kind of appeals to me. He doesn't pay his rent on time. He drinks out of the milk carton before he's paid for it. He just barely does what he has to do to subsist in the society, and for the rest of it, he just kind of relies on doing things his way. And I love that he does it without being a vocal advocate of it. He's not like a dude that's out there in the streets preaching for other people to be that way. The dude is just the dude. He's content to be himself. I think that's probably the most attractive thing about his character to me. and why he sticks in my mind as a character that's unforgettable. And why the can I get hey Gary, would you mind if I got myself could I get a would you mind if could you pour me a big foamy head of that and now maybe I could get a smaller now Gary, now listen, not this week, I'm not going to do the regular, can I get would you make me now, could you make me now? Now, let me ask you something, Gary. Now, you and me, we known each other a long time now, Gary. Could you make me? Now, you know what I normally get, but could you make me? Could I? Tonight, you know what? I'm going to change it up. Little change is good, Gary. You know that. And so, Gary, listen to me. Could I get would you mind if I get, would you mind? Could you mind? Would you mind if I got could I get would I get a, now, Gary, let me ask you this. If I were to pay you two $5 bills, could I get it? Would I get it? Could I get a Stella or a toast? Could I get a Stella or a toast? Gary, give me that. Give me a Stella or a toast. Still meme. Move on. Could somebody swat that fly? Are there any fucking specters in here? I don't even want to touch him myself. I hate to order you guys around, and you know I don't ask for much. But anonymous person has to be banned. Get him the fuck out of here. He's got to go. If there are any specters in the building, he's got to go. You know what? Fuck it. I'll just do it myself. I don't know if there are any specters up tonight. Anonymous person, you got to fucking go. Oh, asbestos fingers. Thank you. Never mind. Glad I didn't have to touch him. You're a gentleman and a scholar, asbestos fingers. Thank you so much. He had to go. He's a piece of fucking shit, and he had to go. How do you maintain interest in video games? As I've gotten older, I've grown less interested in them, and just replay older ones I love, like New Vegas. Know of any new ones that don't suck? Astral Walker, I don't know why I gave you a British accent. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I know some new video games that don't suck. I played through this game called Simulacra on Steam, and it's this weird game where you've got like control over somebody's phone, and you're trying to solve a mystery, and you've got the phone, and it works like a normal phone. You got cool game. I find that like I have to go off the beaten path to find games that I really enjoy now. Like the big AAA titles, with a few exceptions, are not really going to appeal to me anymore. Like I've never once even thought about downloading fucking Fortnite. You know what I mean? Which I'm not trying to shit on it. It's a lot of people play it. They have fun. I didn't like the old people that shat on the games that I liked to play when I was young, so I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to say it's a shitty game or spend all night making fun of Fortnite, but it's just not for me. It's not my kind of game. It's not my kind of shit. Too frenetic. Disco Elysium, and thank you for reminding me, another great example of a game that was made I think last year or maybe even early this year. That was mind-blowingly great. Sea of Thieves is pretty chill if you like being a pirate. Yeah, I've looked at that game. I've watched some people stream that and thought about possibly playing, but I don't know. I don't know about that. I have not played Doom Eternal. I've still yet to beat the 2016 Doom. And I liked it. I just kind of... What happens with me is I like sampling games. It's very rare for me to finish a game. So I like getting a game and playing a bunch of it, and then I realize, okay, I'm kind of bored with this, because typically that's what happens. Like a game will just kind of lose me about halfway through, and that's okay. I had my time with it, I had fun with it while it lasted, but I just reached a point where I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. That happens to me with a lot of games. There's a part of me that I really haven't done for a while, but I've kind of been itching to do, that really loves like competitive type of games. I played a lot of Dota 2. I played a lot of Heroes of the Storm, and there's been an itch to play some to hop onto some Dota or hop onto some HOTS. I actually kind of want to go back to Heroes of the Storm more than Dota, but Paul, you should check out Maneater. It's basically an RPG version of Jaws. I was watching a streamer play that the other night. It looked pretty fun, but I don't know that I'm gonna. I don't know. See, that type of game, I don't know that I'm gonna be interested enough to keep playing a game like that. So, how do you stay interested in games? You got to play some weird ones. You got to try some different shit and find the little games that you like and realize that if you play a game that's 40 hours long and you play it for 15 hours, and of those 15 hours you enjoyed 9 or 10 hours, you know what I mean? Or 11 hours. It wasn't a bad transaction if you know, even if you don't finish it. I had to come to that realization. Cyberpunk, yeah. Cyberpunk 2093 or whatever the fuck it is. Yes. I will check that game out, probably. It looks too cool. The J.P. Morgan building across the street from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce is now also on fire. What city are we talking about? Oh, we're talking about Washington? What the fuck? All right. You know what, dude? Let's take a look. Jesus Christ. What's going on? What's going on in the world today? Let me pop this open here. What's going on in the world today? We're looking at the canoes. What are they saying? American carnage. Oh, Jesus. What a headline. Violence and looting continue as George Floyd. All right. American fucking carnage. Violence and looting continued Saturday as demonstrations planned to protest George Floyd's death in police custody again led to clashes. Cities in Colorado, Minnesota, Georgia, Kentucky, and Wisconsin brought extra help as they braced for more crowds. Holy shit. Saturday's protests saw NYPD cars deliberately drive into a crowd of protesters. A man in Salt Lake City aimed a hunting bow at demonstrators. People are going ape shit. Holy fuck. Protesters at the White House clashed with the Secret Service. A security guard in Seattle grabbed a rifle out of somebody's hands. Some pretty crazy pictures here, too. A BLM sign. Just a bunch of burning shit in the middle of the street. Bunch of cops. Here's a picture we've all seen there. One more riot pic. There we go. Jesus. They're the guys that you want to be on the side of there. The brave stormtroopers. Some good old flag burning. That's good to see. Here's a little throwback to the 60s here, man. You take this picture and put it in black and white and tell people it's from the 60s and they'd fucking believe you. All she needs to do is just stand up and put a little daisy in the barrel of one of these dudes' rifles. Protesters face off with police. They shut down southbound I-35 freeway in Austin, Texas. Fuck me. Cops covered in eggs and shit. American flag burning. Minneapolis demonstrations. CNN headquarters in Atlanta. Fuck me, man.
Matt Finn with the very, very latest from Minneapolis. Hey, Matt. Neil, we are in the 5th Police Precinct that was heavily targeted last night. As you can see, this is the U.S. Post Office building that was destroyed. The windows smashed out and then set on fire. It's still smoldering right now. One of many, many buildings and structures across this city that have been burned. Overnight, we saw an O'Reilly Auto Parts burned to the ground, an AutoZone burned to the ground. We also saw other fires, cars and dumpsters being set on fire. Looters targeting ATMs, also smashing into stores and filling their hands with loot and then running back out through the shards of broken glass. Basically, lawlessness, a free-for-all overnight here in Minneapolis. The governor says people shot at law enforcement and calls this a fluid, dangerous situation. You could see business owners, residents waking up to do a tally of the destruction. We've talked to homeowners who say
notice there's reporting on people that allegedly fired on law enforcement. But is there any tally of live ammunition that's been fired by law enforcement at people in these riots? Where's the reporting on that?
stepped outside their front door and started sweeping up all the shards of glass. And to my left is actually the 5th Police Precinct building, and you could see there's fencing all around, even double fencing in most areas of the property to try to keep some of those rioters out last night. And it looks like that was basically successful because that building is still standing and was not burned, unlike the 3rd Precinct building here in Minneapolis that was entered by rioters and burned. So overall, thick black smoke clouding this city, just days and days of smoke. Now you cannot escape it because there are just so many smoldering fires around this city, Neil.
But what about the small businesses, guys? What about the housing projects that was in... Dude, they were building a housing project, and a bunch of people burned it to the ground. Why would they do that, do you think? Why? Let's think about that particular, because you've heard that, right? I don't support thugs that burn down low-income housing. Well, that low-income housing was in construction. Nobody was living in it. So why would a group of people in a community... Guys, let's really figure this out together, can we? Why would a group of people in a community burn down a bunch of fucking slum housing? A bunch of Section 8 roach-infested little prison cells for poor people. What possible motivation could average people have for looking at a place like that being built and burning it to the fucking ground? I can't even think, man. I can't even think of a reason they'd want to do it. I can't even think of a reason why they might want to do it. So, could it be that they aren't satisfied with dilapidated apartments? No. You're crazy. Why are you so crazy? And I gotta tell you, man, I gotta double down on something right now, and maybe I'll regret this later. But anybody that's telling you that Joe Biden is the fucking solution to this is filling your ear with pork pies and a bag of trout. All right, they're whispering sweet nothings in your ear, and Joe Biden is no part of any strategy to save the planet from what we're talking about here tonight. And anybody that's telling you so, including my friend TJ Kirk, including Vosh, including all these super popular fucking people, And like I said, I may end up fucking regretting going this fucking far with it, but it's the truth. Anybody telling you That the path to fucking victory against the forces we're talking about tonight, and that the people in fucking multiplying cities all over the goddamn fucking country are fighting against tonight, is electing Joe Biden, is selling you a fucking dream. And there's really no room for any more of this. It takes fucking... How many times have you heard the fucking... You know what, man? The thing is, everything changes slowly. I've made the argument myself, man. You gotta be patient, man. It's like the woods are burning. The woods are fucking burning, dude. What do you do? To quote the great Stephen Sondheim from Assassins, the woods are burning, Dick. What do we do? You know, maybe there was a time 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago where we could have talked about this incremental change plan, where we slowly develop a left wing of the party that actually fights for social and economic justice and, you know, provides a strong counterpoint to racism and capitalistic exploitation and environmental degradation. Maybe, like I said, 30, 40, 50 years ago, we had a chance to fucking start doing that and start voting in the people that would do that. But we didn't. We listened to the honey sweet lies of devils. We sold our soul to corporatists. And the Overton window moved so far to the right, I don't even want to fucking try and explain it to you. Your pessimism has entertained me for a long time. I got a free Big Mac coupon the other day. I'm passing on the savings to you. Viva la revolution. All right, thanks, Guccio. Don't care. Biden being in office means that Trump will finally be gone. All right, man. Keep playing the fucking game, man. Keep playing. Keep participating as a pawn on the chessboard between God and death. Okay? I can't tell you how it's going to play out for you, but it's not good. So do what you want. I'm not telling you not to vote. Go vote for fucking Joe Biden. But anybody telling you that Joe Biden is going to solve anything I'm talking about here, or even come close to pushing society in the direction of it, is a liar or deluded by some measure. Dude, if GameStop burned, nobody would notice. That's the sad thing. Not a single customer would notice. It wouldn't be like nobody showing up like, man, I got all these games I want to sell for pennies on the dollar in exchange for store credit on another game I'm going to hate. I can't wait to get to the game. Holy shit, what happened to the GameStop? That wouldn't happen anywhere. Just nobody would notice. Dude, there's one literally right down the street from me, and I haven't even done anything other than look at it as I pass by it. You know, heading for the fucking right turn I gotta make. There's been absolutely no consideration of ever setting foot in that place. GameStop, yeah. What's a GameStop? Why would they even bother burning down a GameStop? You know. Is TJ your best friend? No. And that, you know, I don't mean that in a mean way. I really don't. I don't know, man. I always feel like that's a mean way, and I know that according to the whole way the show goes and shit, that's supposed to be the way. Like people want me to say, "Oh yeah, dude," but it's just not the truth. Now, is TJ a friend of mine? Absolutely. Scotty, a friend of mine? Absolutely. Is TJ my best friend? No. Is Scotty my best friend? No. You know. Sorry to pull back the veil or whatever. I mean, they're very good friends of mine, and I consider them and theirs family. So that's a good friend. Do you have a best friend? Yes. But I honestly don't want to talk about it. My best friend is somebody that's for me. I mean, Dinor is definitely high up there on the list. And Dinor is probably my closest friend. Dinor's ride or die. Oh, yeah, dude. My Paul XTJ Scotty fan fiction was proven wrong today, and I can't say I'm happy. Damn, well, the truth hurts sometimes. I mean, what are you going to do? The truth is painful sometimes. And everybody hurts sometimes. That's also the truth. Legal. The truth is about. Let me explain to you the whole best friend thing, okay? The truth is there's different angles on that. Like, I have a best friend, right? And then I have a best friend. Like, a person I've known for most of my life, who, even though we don't talk all that often, is always going to be there, always knows who I am, and will always pick up the phone and have a chat with me, and vice versa. You know what I mean? So I got a best friend and a best friend. And what happened to the wooden spoon summer? What? Say what? I have the same thing. I don't talk to my best friend often, but he's always going to be there. Well, there you go. I think everybody's probably got a friend like that. Maybe that's just presumptuous of me, but I think most people do. If they really think about it. Oh, man. Got a fucked up neck. Got a fucked up arm. Hey, Paul, I think some of your audience is on drugs. What? What? If you had to live in one state for the rest of your life and you couldn't leave the state, which state would you pick? California. It is. I just know it. It's where I was born. It's where I feel the most comfortable. It's where I just know too many different types of places in California that I could live in. That instant answer, man. I'm a Cali boy. A Cali boy at heart. What's the armpit of California? It is in the Central Valley of California. I'll tell you that much. Northern coastal, central coaster. If I could live in any place in the world, I would live in on the central coast of California. So, think fucking. I'm trying to think of the names of all those little towns. It's been so long since I've lived there, and that's really sad to me too. But of course, Pismo Beach and Grover Beach. Those are that's really my favorite spot. But there's a bunch of little beautiful kind of mountainous ocean-side towns on the central coast of California. They're just fucking beautiful. You can't even describe them to people. Like if you're a person that hasn't seen the Pacific Ocean from the vantage point of that coast, that central coast of California, then I can't tell you what you've missed. It's beautiful. I miss it so much, man. So when all this fucking bullshit chills out to the point where travel is like you can do it safely, I'm going, man. I've made my fucking mind up. I'm gonna take a fucking little vacation. We're gonna pre-record some shows so we can be away for a couple of weeks or maybe even longer, man. See, that's the mode I'm in right now. I want to bank as many fucking shows as possible because I really want to get away. I want to go to that fucking coast and I want to just rent a little Airbnb there for a fucking couple of weeks and just live on the beach for a couple of weeks with my toes in the water. Pick one of the little towns, Monterey, Morro Bay. Oh my God, fucking Morro Bay, Pismo. You know, just find a spot, kick back on that fucking beach with my toes in the water. I don't even care. I am a beach bum, man. If I had my drug, it's so expensive to live in a place like that. So that's why we're talking about fantasy. But yeah, dude, there's no doubt in my mind I'd be nowhere near fucking Louisiana. My life would be a totally different thing if it was affordable to live near a coast. Like, it's hard to explain. My heart is tied to that area, and specifically the ocean of that area. I fucking love the Pacific Ocean. I feel alive when my feet are in it. I feel alive when I'm swimming in it. I feel alive when the waves are hitting me. I feel alive sitting on the beaches of it. I feel alive traveling around in the little towns that fucking populate it. I just feel like a different person when I'm there. And if I had my druthers, I'd just live there. That would be where I live. And maybe it's more possible than I think, you know. The Atlantic, I have spent time on the Atlantic and it's beautiful. I've also spent time on the Gulf. But the Atlantic is beautiful, but it's harsh and it's cold and it's pebbly. At least that's my, I've never been to the Jersey Shore or whatever, and I'm sure it's beautiful beaches. But the only place in the world that I've personally been that had a beach that rivaled what's the Central Coast of California has to offer, and to a certain extent the Southern Coast of California as well, is Florida, Pensacola. Crazy beaches. The Pacific Ocean is like, it can be really harsh. I love a stormy night by the Pacific Ocean. I've been privileged to spend many a night where the storm just raged. And when people vacation, they don't want that, but I do, man. I want that fucking ocean to just roil. Because the Pacific Ocean can be very, very violent, but for the most part, it is just the most mellow, beautiful thing. It just sparkles in the fucking sun. And the beaches are soft and on your feet, and the sun is just warm and inviting. That's where I want to be. That's my, or a place that is like that, So my family would take, we do day trips to the fucking beach. Been there more times than I can count. And it's been a place that has always bookmarked major fucking eras of my life. I always go back. So maybe when I retire, maybe one day I'll be able to fucking scoop together enough money and just be like, all right, I can buy a little shack somewhere and fucking live 30 minutes from Pismo Beach. I'd be happy. Camped at Joshua Tree during the winter was 20 degrees for. Oh yeah, dude, the high desert is crazy, man. It's beautiful too, though. A lot of people avoid that high desert. I love that fucking place. Anytime, see, it's a little longer drive to take from where I grew up, the Tehachapi Pass up to the high desert and Joshua Tree and all that shit. But I always love driving through that shit. What do you think about the Indian Ocean? I've never been on it, so I can't tell you. How do you stand the heat? There is no heat. If you've been to California, you don't know what I'm talking about. Or if you've never been to California, you don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, there might be a day in the deep, deep of summer where it's a little warm or something, but we're talking idyllic, man. It's like 72 degrees outside, and there's this beautiful fucking breeze. It's like a kiss from the earth hitting you in the face. sound of the seagulls and the sounds of the waves lapping against the shore and crashing against the bluffs in Pismo. It's like, this is it, man. This is fucking it. My body is completely and utterly, like, finally acclimated to Louisiana heat. And I feel kind of bad for my girlfriend. She hasn't been here through the thick of summer yet. So this is her first full summer. And she's seen some of the heat, but this will be the first time she experiences the full fucking summer. And that's always a harsh one, man. But I think this will be my third or fourth. Third? Anyway, I'm acclimated now. I don't burst into an immediate sweat unless it's really, really hot. And I can stand the fucking humidity and shit now. It was funny, when I went back to visit California, it was like a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. No, it was like a year and a half. Yeah, a year and a half ago. I went back to visit Cali, and everybody was there, and they're acclimated to that super high heat that's in the Central Valley, which is like triple digit, 102, 103, 104, 105 is not unheard of for days on end. It's super hot. And I was there, and because it was so dry, because it was not a damp heat, I was able to just like sit in it. Everybody else would be like, it's too damn hot, dude. And I'd be in the shade. They're like, I'm going to go inside and get something cold to drink. And I'd be like, all right, I'm just going to sit out here and look at my phone. I sat out there all day. So it's giving me like superpowers back in the Central Valley, which is cool. But yeah, my body is in tune with the Louisiana swampiness. If you had to give a cool name to a crow, what would it be? Virex Blackwing. There you go. Not smoking tonight? No. Doing that is actually pretty good for a soak. What? 70 degrees, a hot day to me where I live. Yeah. Why isn't there a modern Swamp Thing movie yet? What the fuck, DC? I don't know. Hey, Jake Kent.
You need to shut the fuck up.
You meant like soaking in sweat? What? Sometimes I dream of living in Gilroy, California, where it smells of garlic year round. Yeah. Gilroy is I wouldn't want to live in Gilroy, but Gilroy is cool to pass through as you head to a much superior place like Santa Cruz. Like, I don't know a lot of areas of the world, but dude, I could take you guys on a fucking crazy ass tour of the Central Coast of California because there's so much variety, so many different types of fucking beaches. And so many different beautiful little towns, each with like bursting with all the like I know where all the little restaurants and shit are in these towns. You know what I mean? I know how to avoid the tourist traps in all of these places and go to like the authentic, really great, fresh shit where they went out and caught the food that day in the fucking Pacific Ocean, you know? I'm telling you, man. Like, I don't know a whole lot of places in the world, but I know the Central Coast of California. I've been all up and down it. I've stayed all up and down it a bunch of times in my life. It's beautiful. Carmel is beautiful. Yes, it is. It's an expensively cool town. You live in Gilroy and it's hot and there are no dispensaries. That sucks. Because you know what that means? That means you got to drive hella far. to a dispensary in like Fresno or Madera or something. Or Merced. What's the best place to get Asian food in Central California? I mean, this may, like, it depends, dude. Like, here's the thing. I'm not a super fucking fan of Asian food. I'm going to have to remember the name of the place. It's been so many fucking years since I've been there. You guys are probably going to laugh at me, but it's a teppanyaki joint. I'm trying to remember the fucking name of it. It's not like Benihana or anything. It's not like a chain. It's a locally owned and operated teppanyaki place in Fresno that is dope as fuck. Oh, man, what's it called? If it's still in business, remember the room. Yeah, I don't know. What about Southern California? Nobu is probably going to be the best. Like, you're talking about like Asian food. Southern California. I don't know that you're probably going to beat Nobu. Southern Cali is a desert. It's a desert that is blossoming with the coolest city in the world. I've been to New York City and I've been to LA, and I'm telling you, LA just edges out New York. New York is fucking amazing and awe-inspiring, and I don't want to sell it short. But when it comes to the variety and the strangeness, LA has got New York beat. But that's coming from a Cali boy. LA shill, yeah, I guess so, huh? I mean, every big city has multiple areas that can be pretty garbage. There are plenty of places that are technically part of New York that are garbage. Oxnard is beautiful. You're absolutely right. I mean, you can. I mean, you're not. You can just name off every little town up and down California's coast, and I've at least been through it and spent time in it. Best city in a bad state. Probably New Orleans, honestly. That I've been to, New Orleans. And that's, it may sound weird. I mean, oh, well, okay, Austin. Yeah, somebody made me think about Austin, and I think Austin is correct. Atlanta, no. Austin is in the running, but New Orleans has a little bit more flavor than Austin does, man. There's just a little something about New Orleans, or New Orleans in particular, that makes it a little bit cooler. Austin is kind of like dude bro-ish, and that's not. There's some cool stuff in Austin. I'm not trying to, but it's just a lot of college kids roaming around, Look, dude, let's go. Y'all want to go to the fucking bar down there? Oh yeah, man. Let's get some girls together, man. Let's go down there to that bar and let's get drunk. It's either that or like hippies over there. I love my guns, but I love Mother Earth much more, and I would gladly give up my guns for Mother Earth and for the protection of other people. But until then, as long as it's legal, of course I'm gonna have them. Texans don't resent Austin anywhere near as much as you think they do. I'll tell you that much. I lived in San Antonio, Texas, for a year and change. I got real used to Texas. And let me tell you, it's overblown. It's very overblown, at least in the area that I was in. Maybe there are some way more conservative areas of Texas that really resent it. But I do declare that it's overblown. Most Texans kind of like Austin, I think. because they go to it a lot. So best barbecue, honestly, you'd have to come to my mom's house for that. You want to taste the best barbecue in California, here's what you have to do. You have to somehow find out where my mom lives and very peacefully and calmly show up on the 4th of July. And my cousins have to be all there and doing their rib cook-off. And you want to taste the best barbecue in California, that's how you do it. That's not an invitation because you don't know any of the information, and you probably wouldn't be welcomed if you're a spurg. So, but if you're totally cool and you wandered up, you would have the best barbecue in California. But it's kind of an exclusive table. Not a lot of people get to sit at it. I will see you there, Paul. Well, you better. I'm just telling you, don't fuck up. You'll regret it. Excuse me, ma'am. I'm a friend of Peaches. Oh, that would get you right in. Peaches? You're a friend of Peaches? Oh my goodness, honey. Oh my goodness. Not just the property of the rich, anyone's property. The rich should not be allowed to control the government, but outright enforcement of equality isn't good either. Cruising down the street with my heat, chopper on the seat. Hey, Paul, has New Orleans seen any protests? There have been protests in New Orleans, but to my knowledge, as far as like at least a couple hours ago, there have been no riots or burnings or clashes with police in New Orleans. Yeah, my mom watches she watches my show from time to time. I don't think she stays up to date on everything, but she watches the show. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this shit up. It's been fun. It's been fun, but it hasn't been real fun. I will see you guys next time. Have a good one. Bye.